Date part 2. I didn't tell my wife I installed hidden cameras. I was shocked how often my wife had a man over. Making lunch, scrolling through her phone, like always. Nothing out of place, nothing suspicious. Then came the 7th day. The kids had already left for school. Melissa was home alone. I opened the app like I always did, expecting another quiet day of nothing, but there he was again, same hoodie, same walk. Moving through my house like he'd been given a key. This time he stayed longer, and what I saw next flipped my world upside down. He walked into the bedroom, and Melissa followed him in. I didn't want to believe what I was seeing. Part of me wanted to shut off the screen, throw the phone across the room, and pretend this wasn't happening. But I couldn't. I watched. I watched them standing there in our bedroom, my bedroom. Melissa stood near the window, arms crossed like she was trying to act casual. The man didn't say much. He just stepped closer to her, slow, like he'd done it 100 times before. They didn't touch, not this time. But the air between them was thick. You could feel it even through the grainy camera feed. Melissa looked at him the way she used to look at me years ago when everything was still good. She smiled, not a polite smile, not a friendly one. A smile filled with something I hadn't seen from her in a long time. They talked for a while. I couldn't hear what they were saying. I didn't have audio on that camera, stupid mistake. But I didn't need to. Body language said everything. The way she leaned toward him, the way he sat on the edge of the bed like it was his, like he belonged there. After 10 minutes. He left just like that, no kiss, no touch, just out the front door and gone. Melissa sat on the edge of the bed for a while after that, staring at the floor. Then she got up, fixed the pillows, and went to the kitchen like nothing had happened. That was the part that hit me hardest. Not just that she let him into our house, into our bedroom, but how easily she moved on after like it wasn't a big deal, like it was just another Tuesday. I didn't eat dinner that night. I told her I wasn't feeling well. She didn't ask questions. Just told me to get some rest and kissed my forehead before tucking in the kids. That kiss burned. I wanted to pull away, but I couldn't. I froze like some part of me was still hoping there was a chance this was all some huge mistake. I couldn't stop watching the footage every day, every camera angle. I started memorizing her schedule. When she left for errands, when she stayed home, when the kids were gone. I didn't want to become obsessed, but I already was. I was living 2 lives. One where I pretended everything was okay. And one where I watched the truth unfold from a screen. I didn't know what I was going to do, not yet, but I knew one thing for sure. The next time he came back, I needed more than video. I needed proof so clear it couldn't be explained away, no excuses, no lies, just the truth, cold and undeniable, and I had a feeling it was coming soon. I didn't sleep much after that. Every creak in the floor, every door closing in the night made me open my eyes. I kept my phone next to me on the nightstand, always charged, always ready. I checked the cameras like clockwork. Mornings, lunch breaks, even from the bathroom stall at work. I became addicted to the silence, waiting for it to break. Days passed. He didn't come back. I started to think maybe I'd imagined it all. Maybe it wasn't what I thought. Maybe they really didn't do anything. Maybe this guy was just some friend or a contractor or someone she owed a favor to. I clung to those maybes like a drowning man grabs a rope, but I didn't believe them. The unease was still there. It stayed with me at work, followed me home, sat next to me at dinner. Melissa had no clue. She smiled, laughed, made jokes like everything was fine. She still kissed me goodnight, still curled up against me in bed. Her warmth felt like poison. One night, after the kids were asleep, I stared at her while she read a book in bed. Her hair was tied up, glasses on, feet tucked under the blanket. She looked peaceful, familiar. And I hated that I couldn't trust a single thing about her anymore. The next morning, the routine started again. Kids off to school, I headed to work. I logged into the camera feed the second I got to my desk, heart already racing. At first, everything was normal. Melissa in the kitchen drinking coffee, scrolling her phone. She moved to the living room and turned on the TV. I fast-forwarded through most of the footage minute by minute, until around 11:00 a.m. That's when it happened. He came back, same hoodie, same gait, same calm, like he had every right to be there. I watched him walk in, and this time Melissa didn't look surprised at all. She was already waiting in the hallway, phone in her hand, smile on her face, no hesitation. They walked into the bedroom together, and this time the door closed. I sat frozen at my desk, staring at the timestamp. My pulse thudded in my ears. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. The camera in the hallway caught nothing but silence. The bedroom feed, motionless, still images, no movement. Just the shut door. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to see what I knew I'd see, but I had asked for this. I had installed that camera. I had chosen to know. Now there was no going back. At 12:07 p.m. the door opened. He walked out first. Melissa followed a minute later, her hair down, wearing a different shirt. She walked to the kitchen, poured herself a glass of water. Like she had just folded laundry, like nothing had happened. I sat at my desk, phone in hand, feeling like the floor had been ripped out from under me. I didn't move. I didn't speak. My entire body felt numb. It was real, all of it. Now I had to decide what to do with it. I didn't go home right after work that day. I sat in my truck in the parking lot for over an hour, just staring at the steering wheel. I couldn't walk through that front door pretending everything was normal. Not again. I needed time to think. To breathe. To figure out my next move. Melissa texted around 6 o'clock. Everything okay? Should I start dinner? I stared at the message, then typed back, running late, grab something without me. She replied with a heart emoji. The nerve of it. That calm, casual tone. Like she hadn't just invited another man into our home. Into our bed. It made my hands shake with anger. Eventually, I drove to the lake. I parked by the edge, watched the water, and sat with the silence. That's when it really landed. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't some stupid moment of weakness. This was planned, repeated, normal for her now, and she'd hidden it so well. I wanted to confront her, to blow up right then. I wanted to slap my phone down in front of her, and make her watch the footage, but I knew how she'd react.